Kia ora, kia ora. It is me, the moon. Who's in the chat currently? We got viewers. If people can hear me, let me know. Hello, Temp. The moon. We are going to steal the moon. Please, to be clear, can people hear me? I cannot start the stream unless I know people can hear me. That, or it's just a silent stream and I can just talk to myself all the time. Hello? Well, flying to New Zealand, still the moon will be easier than space, at least. Yeah, I mean, so that way, okay, so people can hear me. Alright. But yes, welcome everyone. As most of you know, I've been doing a little art challenge, which I'll bring up here. This one here. Where originally it was supposed to be every day of November, but unfortunately a whole bunch of stuff got in the way, so I'm just kind of doing them whenever. But it's a random colour palette challenge where each drawing is a different random colour palette that I have designed, all with different names, so like Summer Lemonade palette, Charcoal Sunset, and I'm up to number 9 currently, the Lipstick Shades palettes. And so, and the wheel this time, and for context as well, I spin a wheel of fandoms and it gives me a different fandom to draw for each of these palettes. So, as you probably saw, I got How to Train Your Dragon with this palette. So I made this sketch the other day. I was supposed to stream this yesterday, but then I got a huge migraine, which took me out for the day. So now we're doing it today. So let's get started. So how's everyone this fine day? I'm good. Also, hi, Crystal. Hello. Great, Crystal. Shame we already had the... yeah, unfortunately, yeah, we already had the deep dive. Though I imagine we can probably still talk about a few How to Train Your Dragon things if people want to. If anyone has any questions about the lore or, like, my perspective on something that happened in the lore. Because really the deep dive was kind of more just like a breakdown of the books and the movies and the differences there. Well, I'm still sick, but otherwise fine. Oof. I am praying it's not COVID, cross fingers. Just the common cold. How did you feel about the Nine Realms? I haven't watched it yet. I plan to, which I know a lot of people give me the side eye for wanting to watch it, but honestly, I just want to sit down and suffer over what it did. But I have read up a few things about it. And like how bad it really is. I can't believe that Toothless's legacy is inbreeding. I hate that. And I also saw that the ending pulled the exact same thing as the movie, which pisses me off. Because nothing gets fixed. It's not COVID, but I did the test already. That's good at least. Yes, I plan to watch it eventually, just to suffer. Because sometimes you just need to watch something bad, especially if it's with a dearly beloved franchise. To be fairly, I mean, after the third movie, the whole franchise has kind of been going downhill. You need to be able to hate the accurately, yeah, basically. I need to see what they've done to my boys. Return to me. Return. There we go. Yep, there we go. I'm back now. That's probably going to happen a bit. I don't know what's up with the internet today. It was working fine before. But it's like, yeah, I love the How to Train Your Dragon franchise, even with its mistakes and stuff, but it's really like that kind of thing where, like, its story needed to end after the third movie. I really don't like how they've been dragging its corpse around because DreamWorks knows it makes money. Based on what I've seen on it, it looks like Camp Cretaceous CG, but they slapped How to Train Your Dragon on it. I actually watched the first couple of episodes of Camp Cretaceous because I heard good things about it, or at least I heard, like, people in the fandom quite enjoying it, and I just got really pissed off because of, like, the security measurements and the characters and stuff, so I kind of just stopped watching. So, like, I don't know if that's, like, a show that gets better with time or not, but I was just so annoyed with how characters in the park were acting. Hello, Optimus. The Winx Club fan is also losing its mind right now over the new reboot. It's interesting. Didn't that a whole thing happen with the reboot where, like, it was caught using AI in its concept arts or something? Because I think I saw something about that. Which, you know, is not a great sign for your reboot. Yes, yeah, I thought so. Ugh. All I know is the show is that they got kids that live action run unstoppable the voice one of the characters. I know, I mean, the only voice actor I recognised in Camp Cretaceous was Ryan Potter, the guy who voices Hero from Big Hero 6. He played, like, this prick of a guy that I don't understand how anyone is able to be in the same room as. I remember the thing that really made me laugh though in Camp Cretaceous is that, for those who don't know, the whole thing is that this is like a in-universe Jurassic World kind of TV series where you follow a bunch of kids who I think get stuck on the island after everything goes downhill. And the main kid that you follow gets to go to this camp because the whole point is that the company made a video game, and that if you beat it, if you're the first to beat it, you'll get to go to Camp Cretaceous for free. And like the kid says that I think it's been out for a week and no one's beaten it, and I was like, bullshit. In this gaming community, there'd be people speedrunning it like in a day. Yeah, sorry, because it was like they actually it's an ad break. It's almost over. Yeah, no, like, I was just like, no, there's no way people haven't max-mid that game immediately. It was also so funny because there's like a bit where like they're talking to the camp counselors and the guy's like standing with all the other kids who got to go to this camp, and like they're talking about all the things that are going to happen at this camp, and the kid excitedly goes like, oh, and we're going to see like dinosaurs and stuff, and like all the kids look at him as if they're not here to go to a dinosaur camp. It was so funny to me how this kid seemed like the only one who was here for the dinosaurs, and I'm like, why else were any of you here? That sounds like a horrible way for the gaming community is not to be. It's yeah, that's the thing, is like, oh, like you have to imagine what the forums would be like, because I can't imagine people would be happy. Like they'd have to assume that this game is like cheating or something, like the developers pub. And I think the way you're supposed to beat it is like through knowledge of dinosaurs or something, because I think you have to do something with raptors if I recall. And I was like, no, there's no way people haven't like been speed running this game already. It's always the funniest thing whenever you see like a video game sort of situation in like a show or piece of media that clearly doesn't understand video games. It's like when you see people playing like a controller based game and they're like leaning as they're like mashed butting like every button on the controller sort of thing, and then you pan to the game and it's like a platformer. I saw a video of a accurate depiction of a raptor a while back. I'm now scared of turkeys. Yeah, well, velociraptors were like the size of chickens. And I know there's been that recent recreation of what they think T-Rexes sound like, and it sounds like a terrifying giant goose. Also, that's what I've seen in this take place modern day. They don't know nothing about history. So that's what I've seen as this takes place in modern day. Okay, so apparently, like, I don't know, but I've seen clips and I've read the wiki, but it seems to explain that the kids eventually find like journals or notes or something left by Hiccup, and that I think the main kid is revealed to be Hiccup's descendant, because of course he is. And like there is the show doesn't like say where it takes place, but the wiki says the best guess is Canada, so I guess at some point like Hiccup went to Canada for some reason. And, like, I think there's a whole thing about him and Toothless dealing with Jormungandr, or at least their depiction of Jormungandr. So, like, I guess the whole keeping dragons separated thing, like, doesn't apply to Hiccup and Toothless. Hypocrites. But like and like yeah, the other like yeah no the Jurassic Camp Cretaceous had like so many bits that just really annoyed me because I was like, I get you need tension, but like, and I get the Jurassic Park like location is never known for its high value security, but even this is pushing it because in one episode, it's like the first or second episode, the Ryan Potter's character, who's like, he's like more of an older teenager compared to the rest of the crew. Him, the main kid, and this influencer chick, end up going out to the raptor pen to see raptors. And, well, they actually went to go see, what are they called? It's those little green things that look kind of like raptors, but they're incredibly tiny and skinny. Compies. They were going to the compy pen, but they somehow mistook it for the raptor pen. And, like, before they realized it was a raptor pen, the girl dropped her phone in there. No, the guy took her phone and Ryan Potter's character went into the pen with the phone to get her a good shot or something. Everyone told him not to do that, and it turned out it was the raptor pen. And, like, it took way too long for security to get there. Like, there was no alarm, there was no security measure that stopped people from just walking into the raptor pen. It was awful. And then, like, they got into trouble, obviously, but they were acting like these kids had, like, somehow hacked into the pen or something, and I'm like, your arse security measures. So, sounds like they shouldn't have any security or security measures. Yeah, it's just, I know, like, you shouldn't get that bad because it is a Jurassic Park movie, but this goes well beyond that. Like, it's so... Because it's like they pressed buttons, they like went into like the building and like jumped into the raptor's pen and were messing around with stuff, and I'm like, how was there no security alarm going off or something? I was also so prepared to see Chris Pratt show up in the art style, and he didn't, and I was so sad. And then like the next day, the main kid and Ryan Potter's character, we're forced to, like, do some chores alone, as punishment for going into the raptor's pen, which, like, you'd think they'd get sent home after pulling a stunt like that. But then they get, like, sent alone to go do some chores, and I'm like, you can't trust these kids alone. Why are you leaving them to do chores alone? Because, you know what happens? They go into the Carnotaur pen next. Which also apparently doesn't have any security measures. I was thinking live action Wade is in chores are oddly a mild punishment, I know. Well, they scooped a dinosaur poo, but even then, like, they're... Like, if you went to a zoo, like, if you were at one of those, like, camping at a zoo things, and one of the kids was caught trying to climb into the lion enclosure, I think they'd be sent home. That, or the news would be having a field day because of how shit the security is. Sounds like these two kids are just trying to shouldn't be like... Well, because, like... The main kid's whole thing is that he's a big pushover and way too nice for his own good, and Ryan Potter's character is like this rich kid who like says what he does to get what he wants sort of thing. Like, the whole thing is that like the influencer chick told the story, like told them the truth about how he was kind of the one in charge of the group that convinced them to go see the raptors. He was the one who jumped into the pen. And that, like, the main kid was just trying to help him not die to the raptors when he jumped in. But then, like, right before that happens, the Ryan Potter's character, like, gives this sob story about how his rich dad is going to be immensely disappointed with him. So the main kid takes the fall for him by lying, saying he's the one who brought them out there and got into the pen first. And then it turned out the kid was, you know, shocker, lying about that stuff about his dad, though it's very clear that he does have some daddy issues. And then at the end, you know, they save each other from the Carnotaur, and then, like, they act like they're best buds now because they don't tell anyone what they did, as if there's no, you know, cameras that would have seen them do this. And I was like, oh yeah, you know, rich kid does the bare minimum and not lets you get killed by a dinosaur. You should be friends with him now. It sounds like you see that, or they'll tell their parents or not supervising them. Yeah. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I kind of like the first Jurassic World movie. It's kind of cheesy, but I do kind of enjoy it. Whereas the rest are just not good, and they keep getting weirder and weirder. Oh, your own pose character is one I'm talking about that looks like Rob. I don't think he looks that much like Rob. The show I am definitely not gonna watch because it sounds horrible. Like, I think it gets better. I don't know, but like I've seen a lot of people talk about it, so I presume stuff happens, but like I was like, this is awful. Bond rappers so interesting to see for sure. Yeah, like, people talk about that and stuff, and it's like, I don't think it gets a little played out as the movies go on, but it is an interesting idea, because like, I think it actually reflects a lot of like real stuff in zoos and stuff about how people who raise the specific animals can bond with them even if they're still wild animals, and you shouldn't be treating them like household cats sort of thing. But I do think Owen and Blue's dynamic is very sweet and very interesting, and it plays into an interesting idea of like, if you brought back dinosaurs, would this be possible? But the whole like using dinosaurs for military is like such a weird idea. Hydration and stretch, thank you. Stretch. Oh. Get a sip of water. But yeah, it's like all this nonsense about like when they're just like introducing human clones, and like that one dumbass who was like, oh, we're gonna make locusts that eat like all the food in America, and I'm like, you're just gonna kill everyone, like probably a few of your people as well. It's kind of like the same audio with Rex, because you create something, does you mean you have the right to use it if you don't, it's dangerous. Yeah, like the locust subplot was so dumb, especially since the whole point of that movie was supposed to be about how dinosaurs are now living among people and the wild and such, and that's not what happened. I was actually talking to someone about this, but I was like, it's wild to me that the Jurassic Park series hasn't like gone beyond the dinosaurs, if you know what I mean. Like, I'm surprised we haven't had like a Ice Age park sort of thing, or like talks about like reviving other extinct animals or endangered animals kind of thing. Because they have the technology. I also played the Jurassic World Evolution games. I need to get the third one eventually, because I heard that one's actually good. But the games are so funny to me, because you play it and you're like, no wonder the park set itself on fire. Everyone here is incompetent at working here. Like, you'll be, because they, like, you get different scenarios and, like, missions and stuff, and there's, like, 3 departments you have to please. There's science, entertainment, and security. Security's name is a fat lie, because it's not actually security, it's just dumbasses with guns. And, like, they'll give you these tasks where, like, it'll be something like a science team will be like, oh, could you hatch a stegosaurus and give it like plus defense so that we can study it, kind of thing. And entertainment will be like, could you hatch a triceratops because we think they're really cool and they'll be good for the park. And then security is like, we want you to make a Spinosaurus with max attack and defense slap it on the ass and open the gates and see what happens. And I'm like, what do you think's gonna happen? We're gonna get lawsuits. I just want to run my park. Like, there's legit a message, like, there's like a mission where they do legit make you have like a Spinosaurus and then open the gates and let it eat a few guests. And I think the excuse is supposed to be like, this is like for training purposes. And I'm like, we're letting it eat people. It turns on aggression so they can eat guests. So do the other ones, but it isn't as profitable. The concept dinosaurs, so they end up getting. Why wouldn't it be profitable though? It's a mammoth. Like, I get dinosaurs would have more money, but like, everyone would want to see a mammoth or a saber-tooth or something like. Have you seen the Ice Age movies? Have you seen how popular those are? How does this sound training purposes? Sounds like even worse. And I remember there's like one mission where you have to make a an Indoraptor and you have to give it such peak stats. And then the story is like, it breaks out and it starts eating people. And then you try to use a tranquilizer dart on it. But then they're just like, oh, it's immune to tranquilizer darts. Looks like you're gonna have to, like, you know, design a dinosaur to fight it. And I'm like, do we not have real guns? Or do you mean I have to create a pit fight? And I think it took me, like, making 2 Indominus Rexes to kill that thing and passing it. I've not been in a while, and I have heard after Disney Quiet that they went downhill. No, well, Ice Age is still fairly popular, and, like, Disney's been milking it with some shows and stuff like that, and I think they're planning to make, like, a 6th movie, but, like, Ice Age is still, like, a pretty well-known piece of media. And even then, like, it's a giant elephant, and, like, a whole bunch of other stuff, like saber-tooth, hero birds, elephant birds, dodos. People would love to see those. And then probably guns are useless to monsters more advanced biological evolved creatures. Yeah, but like, it's like how there's that bit where you see like them firing missiles and guns at the Indominus, and it's like, even like a bomb or something, and it's like, it doesn't die, and I'm like, what did they make this thing out of? And then they're like, oh, we want to use it in militaries. I'm like, how? It's like in the Indoraptor where they like designed it that you could point a gun at someone with like a red light and it would produce a noise that would cause the Indoraptor to go bite whoever the light's pointing at. And I'm just sitting there going, you know what's better? A sniper? It's far more quick. And also like, it also has the issue of like, of course people are going to immediately know who assassinated the like president of like Mexico if it's the only country that has an Indoraptor. I used the perfect word, oh, dinosaur you can't control. Release them, boys. A dodo petting zoo would be great. Exactly. And like, I've played like Zoo Tycoon 2 and 1, and like, let me tell you, like, guests pop off upon seeing that kind of stuff. Though that is the same game where you could have like a Diplodocus and you'll have some random guest being like, this is cool and all, but it's not a penguin. Don't you? I'm gonna use this gun as a laser pointer for the day. You have a gun, just shoot them. And also, like, you'd have to, like, feed the thing, and you have to, like, carry it around different countries to use as assassination. Like, that's not... Like, I remember watching that scene where they're, like, bidding dinosaurs to give to countries for, like, war purposes and stuff. And I'm like, you know what would be more realistic here? Just billionaire people who are just buying these dinosaurs to make their own parks or, like, exotic pets. Like, you can't tell me that most of these people are using them for war. They're probably just gonna use them as, like, exotic pets or, like, make their own park, or even, like, a Cruella de Vil situation where someone just wants to skin and wear them. The obsession with the military thing in the Jurassic World movies is so weird. And then, yeah, that one guy who was running his own park, and he's like, I'm gonna get rich, because here's my plan. I'm going to make these giant ass locusts that eat everything in their path in terms of like grain and harvest and stuff. So that we can sell our own grain that the grasshoppers don't touch. And I'm like, one, you're still like destroying majority of America's like food product. That's going to kill majority of the population. Like, I don't think people realize like the infrastructure of that kind of stuff and how easy it is to topple it and just wipe out most of America. And second off, everyone's gonna know you did this. And like the military, like the US government's gonna be like, oh, so you're the people who like have the one grain the bugs won't touch. Very suspicious. And even if they didn't suspect you, they're not gonna buy the grain from you. If there's a food shortage, they're gonna be like, that's cute. We're gonna roll up in guns and take this bread from you. To feed people. And as far as there isn't a Secret Saturdays villain who wants to basically create his own Jurassic Park with cryptids, so he catches it before the Saturdays try to help him out. Well, you see cases of people buying cryptids, and there is, like, that kind of stuff. And, like, I imagine that if you try to go public with cryptid stuff like that, you'll be hosed pretty quickly, which is why a lot of it is, like, underground based. Someone's really gonna want to meet somebody to meet. Yeah, that actually happens in the movie after that one with the Indoraptor, where like they go to like a specific country and they find this underground area where you see people like, what was it? You see people eating dinosaurs, using them in pit fights, selling them, that kind of stuff. And I was like, this is more realistic than like sending them to war. Zach would be pissed if someone could. I mean, not even just Zach, like the secret scientist would be like, hey, we're not doing this. Crystal, did you ever watch Dino Squad? I don't know what that is. And I just want to run my park, you know? I just want to run a nice, proper park where people can come see the animals. I mean, that's what I play Planet Zoo now. Quite a bit. And I've got my lovely zoos. And my newest zoo I just added, because some animals can share pens together. I added skunks, raccoons and beavers together in one pen, and they've all had babies because they breed really fast. Skunks do be very cute. Well, one of them's albino as well. He cost a pretty penny, but I'm hoping to get some albino babies. Basically, it's an animated show where kids get mutated by a velociraptor who evolved into human, wants to bring back the dinosaurs. These teenagers, they all gain the ability to turn into dinosaurs, and the guys to stop them terraforming the earth. So is it just Animo? No, actually no, that just sounds like that one guy from Spider-Man who's memed with the whole, like, you could cure cancer. I don't want to cure cancer. I want to turn people into dinosaurs. I mean, outside of, like, Jurassic Park and stuff, it's, like, the only other, like, big media, well, not big media, but, like, dinosaur media I know that I consumed so much of is Fossil Fighters, which is peak. It's basically an animal but with a big company. Yeah, you gotta focus this on evolving everything. I forget a dinosaur also showed up in Generator Rex that one time. I know in Hazbin Hotel there's that one overlord who's apparently a dinosaur that I did not pick up on initially. I thought she looked like a hellhound and I was wrong. Don't need to finish it to Hazbin, but what I've heard, it sounds good. I haven't, like, fully watched it, because I don't have Prime currently, but I've basically spoiled myself on everything that happens. And it looks like that it has improved over some things from Season 1, but honestly it still has quite a few problems that haven't been fixed yet. And that's probably because of the short runtime, unfortunately. Characters don't look like animals, they supposedly are. Well, most of the time I'm able to pick up on what they are, but yeah, she looks very similar to Hellhound, so I got very confused. But yeah, I can tell that Hazbin Hotel is unfortunately going to be part of my bin bag of redemption stories that haven't played out well. And unfortunately, I seem to have a habit of watching media that does this all the time. Everyone wants to do a redemption story, but not everyone's good at it. I kinda didn't even finish Hell of a Boss. Yeah, that's fair. I'm all caught up on Hell of a Boss. I mostly, that's my preferred series out of the two. To make a list of like redemption stories that I think were actually done well, because I feel like I've seen more that have done worse than well. I do plan to make a video about that kind of topic though. There's a lot of characters to talk about. I'm down to see you make that video. This is very good during hiccup and two. Thank you. It took me a while to figure them out because I decided to go for an annoying position with the camera. But I had a vision, and I was determined to stick to it. And even if it looks a little wonky, it's the best I can do. Yes, I do. Yeah, I have a video about, like, redemption, atonement, forgiveness, that kind of genre of media. It would be interesting to see where Kevin fit in. So Kevin's a hard one, because it's like, I like what they did with Kevin. But his redemption was handled not the best, because, I mean, the biggest issue is the fact that he's just not Kevin from the original series anymore. He's a completely new character, which I prefer this new character, but there was no proper blend. It just kind of happened. His issue was quick, yeah. But it's like, and I like redeemed Kevin, because I think he's far more interesting of a character, and it makes sense. And also because, like, Ben 10 doesn't really do a whole lot of redemption. Oh, I heard a doggo. Yeah, that's Titus. He's being weird. He's in a different room. Redeemed Kevin is the best thing that happened to Ben 10. Yeah, it's one of the best things that happened to Ben 10, but it's like, I don't think that really excuses how weird it was handled. Like, I mean, in my shipping video, I talked about how him and Gwen's relationship is good, but it was rushed. It was weirdly paced and weirdly implemented. And I think it's very fair to critique that. But I'll give Kevin this, it's one of the least offensive redemption stories I've seen. I even realized Kevin and Gwen were dating until you didn't realize? They were like full on kissing. And talking about how, like, they will be with each other forever. It's like, Kevin's definitely not one of the worst I've seen. I've seen some pretty bad ones. AKA ones that make me pull out my hair. He still gets up to some sketchy stuff from time to time. Well, yeah, I mean, that helps because it, like, goes to show that he's still learning and still kind of a piece of who he once was. But even then, it's still, like, very different because Kid Kevin was a lot more aggressive in his anti-morals and did a whole lot, like, he tried to kill an entire train of people. And they kind of just gloss over that. Or, you know, he tried to kill Ben and Gwen pretty often. I think my favourite line from Genocide, from what it sounds like, is the band name's The Heart. That's what poor people have instead of money. Yeah. That's what poor people have instead of money. But I mean, if there's any, like, characters with redemption story, forgiveness story, atonement, whatever that you guys want to hear my opinion on, you'll feel free to ask about it. Like, I don't have to save this for the video because a lot of it is stuff that I've already publicly talked about. I like Kevin Alien Force because, to me, it felt like he's the most interesting. Yeah. Assuming Kevin's car disputes bitch and he says I like myself. It's also pretty funny, yep. Ironically, Kevin and magic does not mix well. I do have a list of what franchises I plan to use in the video as examples, because like my video is going to be less like pointing to characters and talking about them and more having them play in the background of the video as I talk about the trope itself. I do like how Rob was like, Kevin got tired of this, so he made me magic proof it, yep. As he should. I think I have my notes about which shows I'm going to be using as background examples in the video. I've got Ben 10, Big Hero 6, Generator Rex, Gravity Falls, Hell of the Boss, How to Train Your Dragon, Miraculous Ladybug, My Little Pony, My Hero Academia, Tangled, Secret Saturdays, Tales of Arcadia, Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0, K-Pop Demon Hunters, Raya and the Last Dragon, Cyberpunk Edge Runners, Encanto, Treasure Planet, Avatar Last Airbender, Dragon Ball, Rick and Morty, BoJack Horseman, Megamind, Paranorman, Invincible, Puss in Boots, Cinderella, Digital Circus, and Hazbin Hotel. There will probably be some other ones I need to add that I'm forgetting right now. Leica Studios announced a new movie. I have not heard about it, but that sounds like Leica Animation. They have a habit of not really advertising themselves. It's basically a movie about the forest, and Angelina Bassett is a giant bird. For some reason, the girl was trying to find her brother with this bird. Yeah, that sounds like her. Reminds me of Kubo and the Two Strings, which is a good movie. Yes, redemption. Redemption is a very interesting concept to talk about, but it is handled poorly very often. Both in terms of, like, writing and how people in fandoms perceive it, even. Because I've seen some very concerning opinions people give about the topic. Because there is... And it's like, I don't want to sound mean, but there is definitely an issue of people who think that because this character is their favourite character, that means they have to defend them no matter what this character does. That's not very healthy to do. I mean, half of the Steven Universe redemption you can write a whole book of bucket list about. Like, I think Steven Universe definitely had its problems, but I think it's actually on one of the better sides with their redemption stories. It's like, even the thing with the diamonds, like, it definitely could have been handled better, but I don't think it was as bad as people painted it to be. Has done no wrong ever, you know, she only committed a little bit of genocide. And, you know, like, kissed Kevin that one time. She's got that unfortunate issue of she really should have been given a proper age. It was mass genocide, and it was like, I got the Remember 5 bag, if I was like, if you done this, I'm out. Yeah. Even her dad was like, nope. It reminds me of when, like, before I got to properly watch Omniverse, I heard so many people talking about how, like, Malware is, like, the best Omniverse character, and I definitely think, well, best Omniverse villain, and I'm like, I definitely think he's one of the more on the upper ends, and they were talking about how it was, like, you know, oh, Azimuth did him so dirty, and, like, everything he did was justified and stuff. And then I watched it, and I was like, yeah, Azimuth was kind of a dick, but, like, Malware has done horrendous things. Why'd you bring me back? I was with my wife. And one of the only villains that actually managed to defeat Ben, yeah. To be fair, she didn't really defeat Ben. Ben got himself killed that one time. Dumbass jumped into the machine as Chromostone, and we all know Chromostone's track record here. And it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, I'm not against Charmcaster having a redemption story. In fact, a lot of the redemption stories I see make sense to the plot, and like, I think are very interesting for a character, but it's like, they get so many fundamentals about it wrong, or like, present it in a very awful manner that doesn't really talk about the issues that happened here. Like, Bryony is, like, I think, actually one of the best examples in Ben 10 of a redemption story, and he was the shortest one. Now I wonder what Margaret done to Vilga makes him so scared of her. I mean, who knows? Like, I truthfully don't like the Vriedel family in any way. I've never been a fan of them, especially Marv Vriedel. And I'm just one of those people that never got around to liking the Vriedels themselves, so I don't really give a shit. And also, like, it's Vilgax and Omniverse, who gives a shit at that point either. I mean, if anything, in that episode, I was more annoyed at Sandra for excusing what her friend was doing to the city and telling Ben to play nice. Oh yeah, I got annoyed by that too, yep. Generator Rex did... Generator Rex had some redemption stories, but none of them were particularly great. They had interesting moments. Like, my mind goes to Cersei, and Cersei's not a good character. I never completed Generator X, that's fair. Cersei's the main love interest of Rex, though. She's the one with like the partly red hair that worked with Van Kleis for a while. She's not an amazing character. She's got a lot of problems. And Secret Saturday is... They had Doyle, which I think was really good, and they had Van Broek, which is a little questionable, but it kind of made sense at the end. And I'll do some things, it's just to say that to describe it. I mean, that's kind of a weird way to put it. She has a screaming ability, and her mouth will terraform itself to do it. I mean, I've mentioned before that it's like, between Generator Rex, Ben 10, and the Secret Saturdays, I don't like any of their finale endgame ships. I think all the canon ones are not particularly great. Because Ben Kai is its whole thing. Rex and Cersei just kind of harms their characters, or what little character she has, and Waddy's got some early 2000s quirky girl issues. And that they do the whole, like, boy and girl in the same room? They must be, you know, future bride and groom. back. Yes, I'm back now. But like, yeah, there's not any other fandom I can think of that worked for the shipping video in the same way as the Ben 10 one did, both in the sense of enough ships to talk about, enough interesting things to talk about, and also a fandom that I know won't kill me over it. Big blonde chick from episode 92. Oh, you mean Anne? The one with the bad luck? I quite like her, she's funny. Well, it's funny because I feel like every other girl that Rex has kind of hinted at as having something with is far more interesting than Cersei and him. Yeah, like, I've thought about other fandoms to do shipping things with, but like, it's either just not enough to work with, or like, I just know the fandom would get very scary about it. Like, if I did a My Hero Academia shipping video, I'm sure I would get some lovely comments there. Like, I've already pissed that fandom off once, I don't need to do it again. Why did you even focus so much on representation? It kind of feels weird for a show about aliens. So it's one of those things where, because I clarified this in my video, in that a lot of the times when I talk about shipping, most of the time it's not out of this like primal desire to see people kiss. It's more from the perspective of how relationships are written in media. Because I think it's very important, it can be a very important, like, character aspect, and, like, how it affects the story, how it tells certain stories, that kind of thing. And the video was also partly for memeing purposes, I won't lie. But shipping is a big thing in the Ben 10 fandom as well. And so there was that aspect about talking about the fandom's perspective on the matter. And so there was that aspect about it. There's also the aspect of how shipping harmed Ben 10 as a series when it came to the canon stuff. And how a lot of man of action media isn't really good at writing romance. Like, I get people don't really care for it, but relationships in media, even outside of romance, like platonic family, that kind of stuff, hits a story way more than you may think it does. I mean, as you saw, it's like Ben's whole thing with his girlfriends harmed him a lot as a character because it painted him to be not a great person and like doing a lot of jackass stuff. Also, missed opportunity at the end of the video to make Ben canonically errors. See, I've seen that opinion, and like I do definitely see that working out in some capacity, but even I, as an Arrow Ace person, just never really saw it. I guess my perspective on that is that, like, it feels like, this isn't to say how everyone portrays that idea. Like, there are definitely people who portray it in a really, like, good way. But it always came across as me being like, oh, Ben's bad at relationships. Or, like, oh, he clearly doesn't want to commit to a relationship. Let's just make him Arrow Ace, you know? That's exactly how our Arrow Ace people act. And I'm like, no. No, not really. And this isn't to say you can't make him Arrow Ace, but it's like, there is definitely parts of the fandom where I feel like that's the solution. And I don't really agree with it. But if you're just doing it because you genuinely see him as Arrow Ace, that's, you know, fine as me as well. And again, like, I can't tell people what to do with their own fandom. Yeah, Ben just didn't end up with anyone because he had terrible luck with ships. He already did. Like, I mean, that's the thing, is it's like, I know it's very easy to say he shouldn't have ended up with anyone, but it's like that kind of thing where it's like, this is only a problem because it's what the writers have done. It's like, the better solution here is to just make it so that Ben is actually a properly written character, along with his love interest and stuff. And again, like, this isn't me saying people can't, like, do it this way or that way, but this is more just how I feel about the matter. It's like the whole, like, you know, oh, Kai's an awful character and stuff, and it's like, she's only really like that because that's what the writers have done. It's like, I've seen people talk about how, like, if OV got to have the galactic road trip, the Ben and Kai thing would have been fixed. And I'm like, no, it wouldn't have, because the writers have not shown that they would have changed anything. I mean, the World's Most Dangerous Game show was completely pointless because, like, it didn't give us anything new. It just, you know, told us Ben and Kai like each other and they're gonna get up together some way, and we already knew that. So what was the point of the episode beyond just getting rid of Esther for something that was never gonna actually happen on stream? You know, like, I have a lot of my own, like, Ace and Arrow headcanons with characters. But it is something, like, I also try to be careful with as well, because, like, even I don't want to fall into some stereotypes you see with Ace characters. And aromantic characters too. I wonder what Rob's going to say about that episode when he gets to it. I'm sure nothing but wonderful things. It's like, yeah, you kind of have to be very careful when it comes to, like, Ace characters, because it's like, you don't want it to end up feeling like, oh, this person has issues with relationships or gets a bit awkward around relationships, that must mean that they're Ace. Or, like, because they're not interested in, like, sex 24/7, that must also mean they're Ace, kind of thing. Or, like, how you get cases where it's like, oh, this guy likes to do some feminine stuff, that must mean he's gay. Like, it's that kind of thing where you have to be very careful and not stereotype, but you can still have people within that kind of dilemma. It's the sort of thing where it's kind of like you need diversity within these diverse groups. Which is why I have so many characters with different labels. It's what leads me to, like, whenever I'm designing characters, I have a lot of, like, if I really think hard about this character's sexuality and how I think it will present the story to, I just randomly pick one, because that also just kind of feels in nature that something like this is very random in people. I guess if I had to find a way to handle Ben being Ace, I would make it go with the coming out story of sorts. Like, he's scared to open up because he fears judgment. Yeah, like, if you do, like, a coming out story, it could be interesting. And, like, what's funny is that if Ben is Ace or Arrow or anything like that, it does strike me as, like, you could write the kind of story where, like, he's not even aware himself that that's what he is. He's just assuming he's like most people. Because that's very common for Ace people. That happened to me growing up. I'd hear, like, you know, my friends talk about how hot guys and girls are and, like, all that kind of stuff. And, like, I would always sit there going, you know, one day it'll hit me. One day I'll understand what's so appealing about the human body. And, like, realizing that the things people say about each other's bodies is completely serious. And not just a weird over-exaggeration. Since we heard them, how do the birds feel about shipping? They're very LGB friendly, these two. I mean, they kiss and swat spit all the time. What's your opinion, Pikachu? Yes, very insightful. Yugi, do you have something you want to say? Yes. Yes, good. They are my bisexual sons. And yeah, like, I mean, I do that thing where I draw, a pride wheel of characters every June with my own, like, either headcanons or, like, actual canon sexualities of characters. It's like, who have I done so far for the past 3 years I've done? There's my file. So the first year, in the Rainbow General Pride section, which is basically like my filled bingo card sort of thing, where I can put anyone that I think is queer, I've got Chloe from Miraculous, Stolas from Hell of a Boss, and Yusuke from Persona 5. So Stolas is confirmed to be on the Rainbow, like that's obvious. Chloe's not confirmed to be anything, but I always got the vibe that she had a crush on Adrian and Ladybug. And Yusuke, like, you can't tell me that that man isn't a little bit fruity. Well, he's extremely fruity. Who am I talking about? Why couldn't they let me date, like, have my character date this one? In the lesbian section, I have, Sunny Star Scout from Gen 5 My Little Pony, Velma from Scooby-Doo, primarily specifically Mystery Incorporated, and Zadra from Free Below. Sunny's not confirmed to be anything. Velma from Mystery Incorporated was confirmed to be lesbian, which was supposed to be seen in the writing, and Zadra wasn't confirmed, but apparently within the media itself she was supposed to be of LGB, of some kind of LGB group, but we never got to say what it was. In Pan, I have Zack Saturday, Rapunzel from Tangled, and Husk from Hazbin Hotel. Zack's not confirmed to be anything, but the creator has said that anyone beyond Doc and Drew is fair game in the LGB community. Rapunzel's not been confirmed because it's Disney, but I just like the idea she's Pan, and Husk is confirmed to be Pan. In my aromantic section, I have Caesar from Generator Rex, Iris from Pokemon, and Lucy from Ben 10. Caesar's always kind of given me the vibe that he's Arrow Ace. He's just been comfortable in that kind of position. Iris, I got strong aromantic vibes actually throughout the series, but that's probably just me. And Lucy, I don't know, I just liked the idea of making a Ben 10 character aromantic. I like sometimes just adding in diversity because it's fun. For the male gay section, it's Globby from Big Hero 6, White Knight from Generator Rex, and Francis from Secret Saturdays. Globby's not confirmed, but he practically is gay on screen. White Knight is confirmed by Duncan Rouleau. I think they said he's actually gay, which puts a lot of him and Six's relationship in a different context. Francis isn't confirmed to be anything, but the Secret Saturdays creator did like that post, so I guess he likes my thoughts. I put, in the bisexual section, I put Gwen Tennyson, Marceline, and Varian from Tangled series. Gwen's not confirmed to be anything, but I always kind of got bi vibes from her. Marceline, I don't think she's confirmed to be bi itself, but we know that she's on the LGBTQ spectrum because of her ex-boyfriend and Bubblegum. Varian's interesting because there was like a non-canon spin-off series in the making from 2 storyboard artists that were going to give him a boyfriend. And a lot of us just kind of hopped on the bisexual bandwagon with him, including me. In the asexual section, I've got Hero from Big Hero 6, the Dryad from Terraria, and Twilight Sparkle from My Little Pony. Hero is a bit of self-projecting, but like, I kind of got demisexual vibes from him, so I like to label him as that. The Dryad, a lot of her dialogue kind of gave me ace impressions, and Twilight was also a bit of self-projection because she was my favourite, and I just kind of got ace vibes from her. In the trans section, I've put Danny Phantom, Cadence from My Little Pony, and the hairstylist from Terraria. Danny Phantom because it's actually a very popular headcanon to make Danny trans in the fandom, and I kind of vibed with it a lot with what I saw, so I kind of adopted the headcanon too. Cadence was also based on headcanons I saw people give her, and I just kind of liked the idea of making the very pink princess of the My Little Pony crew of love being trans. I think that actually adds a lot to her character. And the hairstylist was like mostly because I liked adding little headcanons to the Terraria NPCs. But that's what I've got on my 3 pied wheels so far. So I've definitely got a lot of headcanons. And a lot of them aren't really anything big. Like, I can't really point to a lot of scenes and be like, they're gay beyond a few of them. But I like just putting in headcanons here and there, especially the ace headcanons, just because I'm starving for representation, so I have to make it myself. I mean, I have a lot of original ace characters in my own stuff, whether that be like OCs for canon stuff I watch, or like my own personal stories. I love that the Caesar sounds like Caesar salad when you say his name a certain way. I mean, that's kind of the joke. Caesar salad. What are some of your guys' headcanons on a character's sexuality or gender? That, like, you know is probably not canon, but you'll believe it anyway. The only character I ever thought was trans was from Scarlet and Violet, the bug gym leader, Catty. Let me see. I need to tell you what she looks like. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, her, the chef woman. That's cute. Pretty sure, funnily enough, I'm pretty sure SpongeBob is confirmed to be an asexual character. Mostly because I think Steven Spielberg was like, it's supposed to be representative of like actual sponges, but like as the character itself, it's like him being ace also kind of makes complete sense to me. Yeah, then again, it could have also been the lighting that made them thought that too, because the game looked like its head. definitely a few characters in How to Train Your Dragon that I've headcanon a certain sexuality. I mean, Gob is practically canon as being gay. I finally watched someone play for Scarlet and Violet, and not only was I surprised to see that it's a fine game, but also like people like I'm still pretty negative about Scarlet and Violet. Like, it had some good things, but like overall, it's like it's definitely not a game that a company like Game Freak should be producing at this point. But I won't get negative about it this time, because I know some people don't like hearing about that. The character designs have always been pretty good in Pokemon though. Like, a lot of the... I've always loved that Pokemon isn't afraid to, like, play with go beyond gender stereotypes and stuff. And make some very interesting characters. I bet it was called in ways, but there are voids where it wasn't, and then that made me lose my mental sanity for a while, but I still enjoyed the game. I'll have to see if I'll play it around Christmas time, like if someone gets it for me, that kind of thing, but it's like, I'm just kind of done with excusing Pokemon. It really shouldn't be excused anymore. But like, if people can have fun with the games as well, like, that's good as well. But I'm just kind of off the wagon currently, beyond, like, doing fan stuff and, like, making my own Pokemon. Because if anyone saw, I made my own starter Pokemon for my own idea for a original series called Pokemon Myths and Legends, that's it. This is very Minecraft sounding music, Jesus. I was transported into the game for a second. The jock from Paranorman was confirmed to be gay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was the first cartoon character to be confirmed. And I know recently we actually got to see his boyfriend in that short and that video they made, which I was very happy to see. You're gonna love my boyfriend. He's a chit-filled nuts. Ramona's flower, technically, when you think about it. Which one was Ramona Flowers? Oh, Scott Pilgrim. I have not seen Scott Pilgrim, so I cannot say much there. Yeah, in the movie she dated a white man for bereavement. Again, I don't know any of this. How tough is it being a bird mom? Like, I'll give a proper answer here because I know there's a lot of people who like to get pet bird sort of thing. It jumps around depending, because like any pet is a full-time commitment. Like, that's just how it is with any pets. But birds are, especially depending like what kind of bird you get, they're like toddlers. Like, they're smart enough to be independent in their own right, so like I can't just leave them to their toys here and there, but they're incredibly social, they're very destructive, and they're too smart for their own goods, and then sometimes they're too dumb for their own good. So it's a full-time thing. It's like, I'm not like slaving away every second of the day looking after them, but it's like, it's a routine, it's a commitment that you have to keep up with. They're expensive, but they're very sweet. It's very nice hearing them sing, seeing these two be friends as well, having their own flock, that kind of thing. It's very nice to have, and it's worth it to me, but it's like, if you plan to get a bird, you need to be very serious about it, especially since, like, they need a good cage size. You need to make sure that there's someone who can look after them when you're not home, like if you're on vacation or something. You need to make sure that they're going to eat their food because they're stubborn. And that, like, you need to make sure that you have all that they need, and you need to be committed to socializing with them, and with birds as well. It's like, if you're getting one, it's better to get at least two, because again, they're flock animals. They need multiple people. They need more than like just themselves and a mirror and you. So you have to commit to like two at the very least. Hang on, my cat wants to go out. Be right back. I'm back. Yes, it's a full-time commitment, and like, I meme about them, I love them, and I would never trade them for the whole world, but they're not a pet for everyone. Especially the much bigger parrots, which I do plan on getting a much bigger parrot someday. Once I have the resources to look after one. I don't know how to Train Your Dragon has had a series of film at school. I knew about it because, like, I was checking Cartoon Network and I saw it, and of course anything How to Train Your Dragon I must commit to with all my life energy. Can't keep pets in the current place, but I'd love to have a pet to come home to when I can. Yeah. I mean, that's always the beauty of it. Like, I see people who are like, it's just an animal, but, like, they're family. They mean everything to me. Like, I was devastated when poor Luna passed away. Like, I knew her time was coming, because, like, she was very visual about it, and she was already quite old for a budgie. She was 11 years old, which is beyond a normal budgie lifespan. But I'm also glad that I could give Pikachu a very good home, and I'm very glad that Yugi could have a friend that actually wanted to talk to him. Of course, I'll never forget Luna. I haven't forgotten about any of the pets I've owned. Good to hear the birds. Two birds. Yeah, I was so worried. Like, because it's one of those things where it's like, if they don't get along, I'm tough out of luck, because, like, I can't just bring him back to, like, the SPCA. I'd look really bad about that. And I was so worried because, like, Yugi's always been sociable, but, like, his only other companion was Luna, and I was so afraid she rubbed off on him in such a bad influence that they were going to not get along, and I'd have to figure out a new plan. But now they've been inseparable ever since. Like, when I first introduced them outside of the cages, I was focused on the entire thing to make sure they didn't, like, bite the hell out of each other. But it ended up working out very well. And, like, I used to do this whole thing where, like, I'd separate them for the night for a few months after getting Pikachu. And then it just got to the point where he refused to leave the cage and abandon Yugi, so I just decided to let them sleep together one night and never went back since, because they've been very happy with each other and very inseparable. I mean, that's always the hard part, is that you can't logically tell your pets certain things. Like, I can't just be like, get along, it's for your it's for the better. And, like, any squabbles they do have, like, get sorted out pretty quickly, and it's, like, just normal territorial disputes. Like when dogs play fight or something. Oh, I'm so tired. Hate getting migraines. I've also been replaying the Half-Life games again. Very good franchise. And also, for those that are here, You should be expecting a big announcement from me at the end of November, hopefully, if I don't forget to show it. But I have a big announcement coming up, which will be very good. I'm sure, well, hopefully a lot of people are excited. Do you think Zach, or at least any of the Saturdays, would have took other TV shows but put in a positive direction after? Would have took do you mean Vivi Argyle's show, put it in a positive direction after his defeat? No, not really, because they're more trying to keep the two worlds separated. And, like, I don't think they would really, after what Argos did, really trust the media world to act, you know, good about the cryptids. Like, it's that kind of thing where it's like, if they made a TV show about it, like, you'd have so many people being like, I'm gonna go out into the wild and get an Instagram picture with this monster because the Secret Saturdays made it look so cool, kind of thing. I'm sure as time goes on and media becomes a bigger thing, like, maybe the Secret Saturdays would have something to say about it, but their work is supposed to be secret for a reason, so they'd probably not do much about it. And also because, like, a lot of the places that they send the cryptids is supposed to be, like, private and all that. So, like, I doubt they'd, like, want people, even if it wasn't them, someone else to be doing a documentary on it wouldn't be great in their eyes. Because that person would basically be, you know, announcing to the world where to find this exotic creature to, like, all the influencers and hunters and things like that. Like, if they did something where they talked about it without showing the creature, that's probably good, but realistically not a lot of people would tune in to that. Entertain the idea. Yeah, keeping the cryptids as pets would be an issue. Especially since cryptids are supposed to be increasingly rare, so, like, not showing the public where they are is the better option here. If there was more of them, that would be a different case. I do wonder how the OV episodes went media-wise of all those Franken cryptids. Circus performance gone wrong. Or just aliens. Like, Will Harang was probably like, look guys, the aliens. It's like, well, to be fair, OV never really, like, discussed what cryptids, how cryptids actually affect the Ben 10 world, let's be real here. Ben apparently didn't even hear about the cryptid war. Oh, my nose is itchy. Nah. It was like, you know that show about the cryptids that you did to hang around back in the day? How about they bring back crossover with them and give them the writers no information about them, yeah. Like, here's the thing, is like, if the crossover happened with the original series Ben 10, I think it might have actually flowed better, because the original Ben 10 was very clearly, like, using a lot of like things beyond aliens, like magic was more prevalent, mutants were running around, there were clearly things that couldn't be explained by just being alien. As Max put in one thing, he was like extraterrestrial and unknown and things like that. So it's like, I feel like if the OG series did the crossover with Secret Saturdays, it would have been more fitting. I do remember I was talking to Kura once about it though, where I was like, if the Secret Saturdays crossover did happen while still running, I was like, I calculated when that would have been in terms of when Ben 10 was running at the time. And I realized that so I was being generous here. I was like, let's say it happened in season 2 of Secret Saturdays. When did Secret Sue's production take place when Ben 10 was running around? And I realized it took place in season 3 of Ben 10, which was not boding things well. And then I calculated it further in terms of what episodes would have been running at the time. And it was really funny. Me and Kuro concluded that, like, it could have replaced Primus as a episode. Because we were, like, trying to discuss which episode we'd sacrifice if we were to get the Secret Saturdays crossover while the show was still running. I think we also talked about potentially, I think it was also like one of the other episodes we thought about maybe replacing was Secrets of Chromastone, but we ended up going with Primus because like you'd lose nothing if you got rid of Primus. Yeah, there was definitely episodes that could have been cut in favour of Secret Saturdays. Gwen probably would have loved meeting cryptids, yeah. It was funny as well because I'm pretty sure season 3 of Alien Force was also the one that does the whole like, oh, you know, unicorns and stuff are real, they're all aliens, which would have been a very funny thing to have the very next episode being like, no, they're real, they're just not aliens. You know, it's the Bigfoot joke as well. I mean, the time-wise would also be interesting because if you did do it back then, when the two shows are running, then Zach would have been 13 and Ben would have been 15, almost 16. But it'd be an interesting story-wise because that would have been when the Saturdays were on the run from the world. So, like, you could have an interesting thing of Ben and Zach talking about that, because Zach's just like, everyone hates me and thinks I'm gonna be the start of the apocalypse. What do I do? You could have also gotten rid of, there's something about Glenn that's mostly filler. Even then, that's the one, right, something about Glenn. That's the, are you talking about the episode where Gwen's doing the whole, like, living her life sort of thing? Because I wouldn't get rid of that. Like, I get it's filler and it wasn't fully integrated, but, like, Gwen gets so little time outside of the gang as it is that it's like, this episode helped her a lot. That's more important. Yeah, that's, I mean, nothing but her, but that's kind of the point, is that, like, you don't complain when Ben gets an episode all to himself, and Gwen has been there from the very start, so she kind of deserves that. Not easy being Gwen, that's it. I have no issues with the time travel episode. Is that the one where she goes back in time to try and fix Kevin, and then, like, Charmcaster and Hex somehow become dictators of the world? Yeah, that one. That one's weird. I also like how they're just like, oh yeah, Gwen can time travel. I'm like, what? Ben 10 plays very fast and loose with its time abilities. It makes no sense to me how fixing Kevin and thus also having a full-powered Ben makes them lose a battle we never see. Yep. It's one of those things where, like, they didn't really think about how to explain it. Though I do remember seeing a fanfiction someone wrote about that to explain it, and it ended up being a very interesting story. Where I think they had it that it was like a spell Charmcaster put on him in the main timeline, or Hex, one of them did a spell that they tried to put on Kevin, didn't work because of the mutations. And then, like, when Gwen died, it caused the kind of team to fall apart, with Ben trying his hardest to keep everything together, but being overwhelmed because he was the only one keeping things together. So there's definitely ways to write it, but canon didn't do that. Which is why we have fanfiction. You don't even know what happened to Max in that timeline. I don't know, died like everyone else. If we just kind of have to assume most of them died. This is kind of funny to me that Hex is just like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna rule the world. Because I'm so original compared to every other Ben 10 villain. And then I guess he gave up and was like, you know what? I'm gonna be a college professor. And then have Gwen weirdly have a crush on me. I think it could be interesting, but in the show, it's a battle we've never seen. If we had seen it, probably be more okay, but it feels like a reference to an episode. Yeah, that's the thing as well, is like, we never actually see, like, when I was watching the episode, I thought it was going to end with, like, showing how that happened. It also feels like they only really did Charmcaster and Hex because they have a connection to Gwen. Instead of it actually, like, if it was a different villain she saw, you could buy it. Like, if it was Vilgax, you could buy it as, like, oh yeah, something happened here, that kind of thing. Charmcaster and Hex don't really have that threat level. You know, not until Charmcaster commits genocide. In the name of love. It would have been better we don't find out who the actual person is that took over the timeline until the end of the episode. I mean, it'd be fairly obvious, because if you take over a planet, there's probably going to be media about you. Whether that's by your own doing or by everyone else talking about it. Unless you've, like, nuked everything for some reason. Hex was very interesting indeed. I do like it. They're giving Hex something new to do besides... Yeah, like, I like the idea of it, actually. I just don't think we actually got the timeline process of how that happened and why. Like, the most you ever see initially is, like, when Gwen talks to him about Charmcaster and he's sad about it, and then suddenly he's a college professor, and I'm like, we missed a few steps here. There we go. Band. Don't need that here. I remember Karama? Who? I remember Charmcaster roasting Charmcaster so badly. Oh, Rob roasting Charmcaster, yeah. Ooh, so tired, yeah. What is the stream going for? Oh, almost 2 hours. Very pink picture. Honestly, probably gives it sort of dream vibe. Yeah, I'm gonna like work with like a sunset palette. I'm gonna use that yellow quite a bit, or that very pale yellow. Basically, he just couldn't get behind the crazy champions to... Yeah, I know. I watched the breakdowns and I talked to him. And, like, I agree with the opinions. Like, I mean, Monster Arc just isn't good. Logistics surveying the terrain above his breathing, yes. I'm also going to give him his spots because he deserves his spots. And I'm so sad that they were taken away from him. It was also so funny to me when like the third movie came out and they're like, yeah, they fully confirmed that Toothless was the last one. I remember seeing so many people upset and I was like, I mean, that felt fairly obvious that he was the only one. And I kind of always knew that they weren't gonna make another Night Fury. Unless it was all that sweet, sweet merchandise. Though what is funny is that there is actually another Night Fury in the mobile game, the Rise of Berk. There is a distinctly different Night Fury in the game. And she's like the only one I think we've ever seen. Her name's like Midnight Wrath or something. And yeah, she's female too, which is interesting. I remember seeing her in the game being like, damn, there's another one. I generally find entertaining so and with the direction, I do think the redemption route would have been preferable, hence the... Like, I think you could do the whole, what was it? Yeah, like, you can do the whole crazy thing, given, like, what she goes through, but the problem is that's clearly not what Omniverse was doing. Like, she's not crazy for a story purpose. She's crazy because they think that's funny. Which is the disappointing part. And again, because OV has a habit of, you know, acting like the original series is the best series. You mean Toothless's legacy didn't have to be inbred? No. I'll see if I can get an image of her. Because she's part of this specific set of dragons in the game that have like a golden ethereal design that doesn't. Here she is. From the deepest reaches of the hidden world comes the ultimate evolution, the favoured child of lightning and death. This secretive dragon is mythical even among night furies. She attacks faster than the blink of eye, sound swoop with plasma scene to finish charge, and her targets never see what hit him. She's the only other night fury in the game. Because all the other night fury things you can get are like toothless outfits, but I was surprised to see her. And like honestly, and like they say she's from the hidden world, or like the depths of the hidden world, so that brings up a very interesting point of discussion. Makes me think of like an AU of if Toothless ever got to meet her, or met her first even. I like the golden mirror design. Yeah, because she's, well, yeah, again, she's from a batch of dragons that have a specific colour palette. Because there's another one here called Novatail, who's of the same kind of idea. Yeah, hidden world. So they're types of dragons from the deep hidden world that have like an ultimate evolution sort of thing. If you get written as one of a kind powerhouse. So they seem to be some kind of like ancient guardian sort of thing. Sounds like a Crystal Rewrite series. Well, I have rewritten How to Train a Dragon with my own ideas. So, and I don't have any other Night Furies show up. Which, you know, is sad. But, like, I kind of get the idea, and I've rewritten how the whole Light Fury thing happened, so that it's a genuinely nice little story, and that, like, Toothless does not abandon Hiccup over a girl. And like, I've got a whole like note section about how I've rewritten the third movie. And how that leads into my next gen series, because as you all know, I always have to make a next gen series. I can't stop myself at this point. Does he still do his weird dance thing? Yes, I had to keep that in. But I mean, one of the changes, funnily enough, that I made for the series is that Toothless actually doesn't like the Light Fury at first. It's her that's more intrigued initially, and I had this whole thing where Hiccup, out of all three of them, is the more intrigued about meeting her, that kind of thing, because he's like, holy shit, Toothless, this is another version of you. So I want Hiccup to be supportive and a nerd. The one that we all know and love. A shiny Toothless, we gotta catch it! Whereas Toothless at first is unsure about it. And, like, here's the thing. Like, this was one of the big changes to the rewrite. To, like, the How to Train Your Dragon rewrites I did. Because, it was a thought I had when watching the movie. But How to Train Your Dragon 3 should have been a Toothless movie. Like, because the antagonist is connected to him. He has a love interest. He's got the whole story with, like, the hidden world. Like, it really should have had him be the central protagonist. And you could still have Hiccup be a major character in it. But this should have been a story about Toothless. It makes Hiccup a dragon bitch of the crew. I mean, he basically was Steve Irwin, you know? Like, he looked at all these beautiful dragons and he's like, I'm gonna touch them. I'm gonna befriend them. I'm gonna share knowledge about them. They were boys when I was a dragon. Yeah, basically. But yeah, like, I mean, yeah, like, cause... What's the main villain's name? Rimmel. He basically is, like, the perfect antagonist to Toothless, because he's the reason Toothless doesn't have a family anymore. And, like, I feel like you could do, like, a really interesting opening where you have Toothless have a flashback to seeing this man and realizing he's the one who killed his family in the past. Like, you'd see him, like, take away his mum or something. He's just a little dragon. Redesigning the Light Fury as well is another thing I've got on my list to work on. I've also got ideas for my own like Night Fury subspecies. Like what are my ones called? I always forget. So many folders. My Night Fury subspecies are called a Fright Fury, a Plight Fury, a Blight Fury, a Bright Fury, and a Smite Fury. And I've got them paired with a, I've paired them with a type of cat, because Toothless is based on a panther and the Light Fury is based on a snow leopard. So having them based on different big cats I've got. And some other random animal to take inspiration from. An evening anger. The Fright Fury is a combination of a, what was it? Peafowl and cheetah. The Plight Fury is a combination of a lynx and crocodile. A Blight Fury is a cross between a tiger and poison frog. The Bright Fury is a saber-tooth crossed with an anglerfish. And the Smite Fury is a lion crossed with an eagle. They're based on big cats, so it explains the cat. Well, yeah, Toothless is primarily based on a panther, which came about because when they were trying to design him, because his book self is very different, someone's monitor had a panther on it. And they took inspiration from that, which is why he acts like a very big house cat. And yeah, the Light Fury is supposed to be based on snow leopards. Which I admittedly didn't pick up on, because beyond her attitude, she doesn't really look cat-like to me. She's more beluga whale, if anything. He's only cat by association of giant cat Toothless, yeah. Just saying, because I love snow leopards, and like, if I redesign her, I definitely would add some more elements to that to her. I do appreciate that these dragons are very cute, even if I like the idea of being menacing and but I like having like a variety of them. Like I like having the very cutesy dragons, I like having the very menacing ones, I like the ones that can do both. Like, because that's the thing with Toothless, is that while I love him being the big kitty cat sort of energy, I do miss how threatening he used to be able to be. I do feel like they toned that down a lot. Because it's more merchandisable. But if you like go back to the first movie, he's this really good combination of being very cute, very lovable, but he has some very genuinely terrifying moments. If inbreeding is movie Toothless, what is Crystal's Toothless? What happens with like the Light Furies and stuff? Well, it's that kind of thing where unfortunately, because he is the last, it's like he's not going to there's just no more Night Furies past him, like even with the Night Lights, because they're their own thing now. I do have it that there are hybrid dragons, and hybrid dragons typically can't really have hybrid kids with other dragons unless they're unless they're a part of what they're a hybrid of or a sister species. So like the Night Lights could get with another Light Fury, that kind of thing. But as it goes on, it's like far into the future, the Night Fury gene's just gonna be gone, or at least only a smidge of it will be still remain. And I do have other Night Fury hybrids to come about because, well, not Night Fury, but Fury hybrids, because I gave the Light Fury a family, and both her siblings end up getting with a different Night Fury. Well, different Fury. Because she's got a sister and a brother. The sister's nicknamed Aurora, or Aura for short. She gets with a Blight Fury, which is the poison frog tiger one. And her brother is named Eero, and he gets with a Bright Fury, which is the anglerfish saber-tooth one. So you get to see some more hybrids there. Because the next gen series I was going to have revolve around, or at least the first major arc was going to revolve around other subspecies of Night Furies and like subspecies in general and things like that. Yeah, it's like, even if Night Furies are technically going to end with Toothless, like, that doesn't mean Toothless still can't have a happy ending by, like, finding a mate, taking care of the Hidden Kingdom, having kids still. It's just supposed to be this sort of unfortunate byproduct that time is changing. There's no going back to what happened to the Night Furies. But it doesn't necessarily have to be a very sad ending. As long as Toothless gets to be happy. I know a while ago as well, I also thought about doing my own sort of like reboot of the franchise, because I had this idea of like combining the movies and the books as an idea and then making something new with that. Like the whole Hiccup being able to speak with the dragons, I would have made a great add that to the world, just because that's a very fun idea. And then I've also mentioned that I've got like a list of like over 70 dragons as like original ideas that I made growing up that I'll one day give proper redesigns to, because as it is, they're all just very ugly old childhood drawings in a sheet that I have. Hiccup's just Night Fury of all species. He's like, holy shit, what? I'd probably have the and I throw my own ideas in because I like the idea of making the Dragonese thing more like, if I was doing it, I'd probably make the dragon stuff more magical in nature to change it from the movies and even the books. Like the books, it's hard to say if things were actually magical or if it was just weird, like science people didn't understand. There was definite things though that were probably magical if I think about it. But I would add magic, and I'd have the Dragonese thing be a magical trait of Hiccup. And, like, yeah, play some more magic into the series. And I'd probably keep the dragons as more animal-like than, well, cartoon animal-like than full-on sapience. Kind of a mix of both, maybe. I don't have to think about it. I think that's it for the colouring, and we've gone past 2 hours, so I'll probably stop there and finish this off screen, because I am kind of tired and hungry and want to stretch my fingers and do other things. But yes, thank you all for being here. Ah, no, hit my mic. Go back, no, I unscrewed it. There we go. Yes. Thank you all for being here. I will see if I can do another stream for one of these future calendars. In fact, let's think about this. What? Because, like, next one's a Danny Phantom one. Silver Road's Mass Effect. Golden Road is Gravity Falls. Dream Dust is Spiritfarer. Sorrowful Sea is My Hero Academia. Yeah, so probably one of those ones. Not sure, I'll have to see how I'm feeling and how things go, because unfortunately I'm very behind on everything since I lost my pen nubs and then had to leave the house. But yes, thank you all for being here. Very lovely chatting to you all. Love you all. Take care. Be nice to yourselves and everyone around you. And I hope you all have a wonderful upcoming holiday season. Bye.